Guys, so today we're going to be working on some quadratic formula practice. Just so you are aware, a lot of times they don't tell you that you need to use the quadratic formula, but it's always a really safe place to go, which is why we want to be really mathematical at it. So if we take a look at this question, the roots of the function x squared minus 5x minus 4 equals 0 are. Now, if you see a quadratic function, and I know it's quadratic because there's an x squared, then I should probably just jump straight to quadratic formula, okay? And another reason we really like this is because it's given to us on the reference sheet, right? We don't have to memorize this big, long formula, okay? So if you look on your reference sheet, which I'll give you a second to go ahead and grab that, okay, now that you have that, you're going to write down x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a, okay? And now you're going to take a look at your original function and you're going to ask yourself, is it in standard form? Meaning, is it ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, okay? And the other thing you want to ask yourself, is it set equal to 0? Okay, if both of those things are true, which in this case it is, then you can go ahead and just start finding whatever your A, B, and C values are, okay? So off to the side over here, I'm going to write A equals, B equals, and C equals, okay? And I love that it's already in order for me. Some people always get confused because looking at the x squared, they have a hard time figuring out what the coefficient in front of x is, x squared is. And in this case, it's 1. So if you don't see a number in front of x squared, then you can always assume that the coefficient is 1. For b, the coefficient is negative 5, and for c, it's negative 4. And the last thing you want to find, now that you've identified a, b, and c, is the discriminant. So remember, the discriminant is just all the stuff that's under the square root, okay? So I'm going to rewrite b squared minus 4ac. And this is the really, really important piece. So ready? We're going to put a little star, because this is really important, is that right before you jump into substituting, you are going to make your template. Ready? Say it. I am going to make my template. Okay, great. Meaning, instead of putting B, A, and C, you're going to write the parentheses and then substitute. Okay, now that we've done that, I'm going to put in negative 5 for B. I'm going to put in 1 for A, and I'm going to put in negative 4 for C. And the reason we want to do that is really because of this B squared, because when we have a negative numbered squared, it becomes positive, and your calculator doesn't know that unless you put the parentheses, okay? So these are really, 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 really important. All right. So then you're going to type that into your calculator, and you're just going to type this whole thing here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do that. And you would get, I'm actually just going to do some work off to the side here. 25 minus plus 16, that's equal to, see, I'm naughty and I didn't have my calculator, 41. Okay, did you get 41 for your discriminant? Okay, nice. So we're going to write x is equal to, now we're going to do the same thing that we did with the discriminant. Now we're just going to use the formula. So it's negative parentheses plus or minus the square root of all divided by 2 times parentheses. Do the template, okay? It's really helpful to do this before you just start plugging in for values, because now it's really easy to see. So you're going to put in negative 5 because that's your b value. I'm going to use a different color. Okay, and then you're going to plug in the discriminant, which is 41. And then you're going to plug in a, which is 1. Okay, and then you want to just simplify, okay? So I like to simplify this first. So negative 5 is positive 5. I like to type in the square root of 41 and see if it's a perfect square, which in this case it is not a perfect square, so you're going to get like some ugly decimal. Okay, that's because it's irrational. You remember that word. And then 2 times 1, which is just 2. So now I'm going to write this all out in its simplified form. X is equal to 5 plus or minus the square root of 41, all divided by 2. Okay? And the last step I'm going to do before I box this is I'm going to reread the question. And I'm going to see, is it asking me to round? If it is, then you want your answer as a decimal. Is it asking me for exact values? If it is, then you want to leave it as a fraction or in simplest radical form. And the last thing it might ask me is simplest radical form, okay? In this case, when I reread the question, it just says the roots of x squared minus 5x minus 4 equals 0 are. So it actually doesn't care which form we leave it in, okay? So for me, I like to keep it safe, and if it's not asking for a form, then I'm not going to do more work than I have to, right? And I'm just going to leave my answer as an exact value. All right? And that's it.